Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Netstock sponsor session for DynamicsCon Spring 2022. My name is Russ Groff, and I am the Vice President of Channel Management here at Netstock. And it's my pleasure to speak to you today and tell a little bit about the Netstock story. Very excited again to be a platinum sponsor for DynamicsCon this spring and continue to support the great work that Dynamics User Group is doing. And of course, all of the Dynamics ERPs and business partners out there. We appreciate everything that you do every day. And we were very honored to also have been selected again by popular vote to present an educational session, which actually aired yesterday on the topic of navigating your supply chain in 2022, no small task. So if you missed that session, please check out the recording when it becomes available on this site. Just a quick note, I'm recording this here in the middle of February in the great Southwest, and the desert is in bloom, so my allergies are in also full bloom. So I've got a lozenge going and my water at my side, so please bear with me and my scratchy throat. And if I have to take a break every little bit to have a drink of water, please give me that grace. So last fall, we talked about the Netstock story and started with the concept of why, right? The Simon Sinek theory of how to do these kinds of things. And so I think it's worth repeating very quickly, why do we do what we do? And the answer is that we passionately believe that all small and medium-sized businesses deserve the tools to compete in their markets. And there's no question that middle market firms face daunting competition from the likes of Amazon and Walmart and other big box retailers, et cetera. So we get out of bed every single day working hard to make sure that our customers have the technology and the support they need to improve their supply chains, to improve their inventory performance, which is critical to their profitability and their ability to sustain and grow and so forth. So that's our why. That remains our North Star, has not changed, will not change, right? So, and since this is our third DynamicsCon conference now in the last 12 months, today what I thought I'd do is quickly refresh how we help our users take their inventory to the next level, as our opening slide here indicates. But in addition to that, I'll also have some time near the end to provide some updates on our company and on the application, because it's been a very busy last 6 months for us. And I want to share some of that with you in a few minutes, right? So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So first, again, just to refresh who Netstock is. Netstock is both the company name and the application name. And we are a leading cloud-based inventory replenishment demand planning solution. Sometimes you hear the phrase inventory optimization to describe what we do. We are designed to integrate directly with all the Microsoft Dynamics ERPs, as well as other middle market ERP applications that are out in the marketplace. And when I say leading, I mean really the leader, right? Globally, we've got well over 1,800 companies around the globe now using the application, with some 16,000 plus individual users in those businesses banging away on our application and managing a ton of inventory. I'm confident in saying that there's no other inventory optimization demand planning application anywhere in the world that has that kind of a footprint. So we're very proud of that. And it raises the fundamental question about inventory, right? Why do we even bother to hold inventory in the first place? Why is this such a big deal? We've all heard the term, just-in-time inventory touted over the last number of years, maybe a decade. And of course, that's a goal. It's kind of a nirvana, very difficult to attain. And I think one of the things that the COVID pandemic and the resulting supply chain challenges that we've seen has really exposed that we've probably been a little too lean. We've probably gone too far that way, and the pendulum needs to swing back a little bit, which is what we're seeing in the marketplace today. But the point is, there is a proper level of inventory to manage. And why is that? It's because of risk. There's both supply risk and demand risk, right? On the supply side, which is what we're experiencing a ton of today, suppliers are delivering late and often less than what we requested. On the demand side, it's become very difficult to properly predict demand and forecast that demand and buy accordingly, or produce, for a manufacturer, produce accordingly. And both those risks really amount to risks to availability. Availability to my customers when they have a need for my product, or availability to my production facility when I'm ready to go ahead and generate some production processes. So those risks are real, And the way that we mitigate those and manage those risks is by having a certain proper level of inventory, what you might call safety stock. So instead of just in time, it's really maybe just in case, right? Just in case something goes wrong in either the supply or the demand side, I've got enough to still sustain my requirements, right, to meet my needs. And but the problems that we see today are really four in specific. And one is plenty of stockouts, right? And again, that's the predominant condition today for most of our customers, is trying to manage the complex supply chains, the challenges, the shutdowns that have occurred across the globe and come and gone over the last 2 years, along with other typical supply chain challenges, which we always are faced with in this world, right? There's always things going on, whether it's climate or labor strikes or who knows what. There's always something going on in the supply chain that creates risk and challenge. That's just the nature of the game. But of course, all that's been exacerbated by the pandemic. So plenty of stockouts, which is a real challenge. Yet still, we have some significant excess in some items. Demand that we expected did not show up. So we've got too much inventory. We bought too much, and it's tying up cash and costing us hard carrying costs and so forth. And then the folks that are responsible in the organization for managing those levels, for balancing what are really two competing interests, having enough but not too much, end up spending way too much time manipulating data, right? Extracting data, putting it into spreadsheets, writing reports, just trying to figure out what the right levels of inventory are and what's the right amount of product to order, because that's really where this all starts, right? If I order properly, I'm going to have a better chance of managing these inventory levels and keeping everybody happy. So we spend a ton of time trying to manage that, way too much time, because we don't have the proper tools, right? We don't have the proper processes in place to be more efficient, and then use that spare time, that new time that I discover, to do other things that are really higher value and more important in my supply chain management function. Working with my vendors, getting to know them, understanding their requirements and their situation, planning ahead, maybe identifying alternative vendors or alternative ports or alternative transportation modes to get product in. Transportation costs and availability has been extremely impacted in the last couple of years. So we've got plenty to do that is of higher value, instead of spending time working on spreadsheets and circular errors and running around the warehouse putting out fires and getting yelled at by everybody in the company, right? And a lot of it has to do with forecast accuracy. We know forecasts are never going to be 100%. They're a best guess, even in the best of situations. But the better we can be at this, the more accurately we can forecast future demand and manage and update and be nimble with the changing volatility of that demand environment, the better chance we're going to have of increasing the profitability of our inventory. And one of the things that we see when we're talking to prospects, and one of the reasons that we're engaged with them, is the typical problem is that companies are not very well connected. There's a disconnect within the organization between different constituents, right? Sales folks never want to run out of inventory because it could cost them sales and or customers. And so if it was up to them, we'd have warehouses overflowing with product, right? But then the folks in the C-level or on the finance side of the business are looking at the balance sheet and telling us, hey, you got way too much money tied up in inventory. We need to reduce that, maybe by some arbitrary number, 10 or 20%, right? And so there's these, again, two competing interests as to what the proper level of inventory investment needs to be. And then we've got the operations folks, whether that's manufacturing or warehouse folks or supply chain members, that really don't want to be part of the controversy. They just want to be given direction. Hey, what's the policy? What's the standard? What's the target? And I'll execute against that plan. But just tell me what that plan is. So that disconnect in the organization can really cause challenges for firms, and especially in the middle market if they're not properly equipped. So the solution is pretty obvious. You need to do a better job of supply and demand planning. And to do that, you need to have a dedicated application that is geared specifically for that role. You need to have the ability to model different inventory policies and adjust those according to corporate policy, right? And make sure those are in alignment so that you can execute properly against those plans and policies. And that means being able to generate ideal orders, right? Again, it's all about buying smarter, buying the right amount at the right time with proper look forward days and understanding proper, accurate, current lead times from our suppliers and so forth. And so then if we generate that ideal order, we now have the ability to track performance against those targets and project what our stock and purchases are going to look like somewhere down the line, 8, 10, 12 months down the road. I should have a good visibility and some confidence in where do we currently stand, where will we stand at that time. And if we can do this, right, if we have the right tools in place and the right processes and the people are trained up to do it properly, we're going to see an improved fill rate, anywhere up to 15% improvement is what we typically see in terms of meeting the demands of our customers and our production lines. We're going to have a better chance of optimizing those stock levels and reducing excess inventory, sometimes by as much as 30, 35%. And just think of, $1,000 bills stacked in a warehouse gathering dust. If we can identify where those are and free those up, the multiplier effect of that cash coming into the business to drive other profit generating activities is huge. And so that's a major challenge and a big benefit to doing this correctly. And again, then we can also increase our efficiency. Somewhere between 50 and 70% is what our customers are reporting to us in terms of reduced time spent on the grunt work, on the planning, forecasting stuff, and placing proper orders, so that they can spend their time again doing higher value things and building those relationships as necessary and being strategic with their time. And then all that is driven, of course, by better forecast accuracy. Our algorithms and the way that we approach this can improve your forecast accuracy by up to 50% or more, which just improves the entire operation, right? So how it works quickly is we simply extract the data. We've got scripts that we've written. We extract the data, bring it into our cloud application. So we're external to the ERP, and we manage by exception, right? We give you a dashboard that's kind of your control center that highlights very quickly, and you can see it's graphical and colorful, and lots of visual cues for the users, very intuitive and easy to use and easy to adopt, get up and running quickly. And it's all about giving you exposure to what's gone wrong in your inventory. And I can slice and dice this data a million different ways. If I'm a buyer responsible for certain product lines, I can see just those. If I'm looking at certain geographies or warehouse locations, I can look at those. I can nest those things. So I get exactly the data that I need to do what I do every day in managing the inventory. And it highlights where the biggest challenges are, helps me prioritize my activity, because we know we're all constrained by time every day. And so if I can focus my time and energy on the most important items, the ones that I'm going to have the biggest impact on inventory and on profitability, and I do that every day with some discipline, I can't help but see the trends go the right way. So that visibility and that control center and the ability to drill down, drill around, dig in, understand what's happening, and take action, right? You see the recommendations that Netstock provides and now follow through on those. I'm going to have so much better chance of increasing my performance. And one of the fundamental pieces that we bring to this conversation is the way we classify items, not only by an ABC ranking in terms of value, which is fairly classic inventory best practices, but also by looking at those same items in terms of turnover or speed of movement or velocity, in terms of a high, medium, low movement performance arena. So we combine those two views into this 9-box matrix, as we call it, and it really helps you understand the nature of the items in your inventory, so that you can have different policies and procedures and targets and metrics against those different categories, instead of painting every item with the same broad brush. And it just makes a huge difference in terms of your ability to be more granular and targeted in your efforts. And then, of course, the forecasting engine, multiple algorithms built into the application, ability to do top-down and bottom-up forecasting, modeling, freezing, projecting out into the future. So really a great tool that you'll just never be able to get to that functionality in a spreadsheet or a standard BI type tool. There's only one way to get this kind of function, and that's to have a dedicated application that's built for this single purpose, right? To do exactly what we do. And the net result, again, is to create an optimal order. So we help the buyer see exactly what we recommend, why we recommend it, make the adjustments if necessary, add and subtract items if you're trying to fill containers or optimize your transportation costs. All that ability is right there at your fingertips, so that buyers can now create the perfect purchase order in a matter of minutes, rather than hours or sometimes days, is what we've seen. So huge productivity improvement. So that's what we're all about. We've got again, lots of customers. Many of the names maybe are not as well known as some others because they tend to be in the background in the distribution supply chain environment. But a few more customer-facing brands that you may recognize: Traeger Grill, of course, Crazy Aaron's Putty, Wish Cosmetics, and so forth. So all companies here in North America that are very different sizes, different markets, different products, but they had one common challenge, and that was supply chain management and inventory level optimization. And we're excited to count them as great customers and reference sites for us, along with hundreds and hundreds of others across the globe, right? And some of those comments that we get from them are very encouraging to us. And they support exactly what I've been talking about: the ability to improve the stock out and fill rate situation within organizations, be able to free up a bunch of working capital and cash into the organization to do other things, and balance those inventories properly. So we're very excited about that. So with that, I thought I would finish the next 5 or 10 minutes with some ideas on where we are as a company. We've been experiencing rapid growth. If you follow us at all on the social media, you've seen lots of new employees and new efforts, new things going on related to Netstock. But a lot of it stems from the fact that we took on a private equity investment in late 2020. A company called Stratum Capital invested some money in us, and we had worked hard prior to that as a bootstrapped organization to make sure that we were well positioned and understood how to, once we got a cash influx, how to leverage that to great effect, and that we were properly structured and organized the right way. So we were fortunate to attract some investment. And as part of that, now we've moved our global headquarters to North America, which had been in the UK. So we now are establishing a corporate headquarters in the Boston area. And we've been hiring like crazy. We're now up to 125 plus. Probably by the time this recording airs, we'll have another 5 or 6 folks on the team, because that's kind of the pace that we're hiring. Really adding some great talent to the organization, really beefing up our development team and our support teams, our account management to make sure that our customers are getting full value out of their investment in our product. So we have just done a really stellar job of bringing on some great teams to build. And one of the more recent additions to the team was a new CEO who joined us in December, a gentleman that has great experience in building firms like ours and taking us to the next level. He's added a bunch of energy and some great ideas, and we're all very excited to be working for him. His name is Era Ohanian, and Era's had a great impact on us already, and we're very excited what the future holds under his leadership. And we also had a recent acquisition of a company called DemandWorks, which is to some degree a competing product, right? Also an inventory optimization and replenishment tool. And they also have operated some in the Dynamics space, primarily in the BC and F&O environment over the last several years. Also a global company. They got customers around the globe. About 250 companies that were added to our mix that weren't even in my earlier number of 1,800. So that acquisition is still kind of working its way through, but very early response is outstanding. Really top-notch team, and they bring some great new technology to us in terms of additional forecasting capability and skill and granularity, which will be very helpful for us. They also bring some capacity planning capability to us in a manufacturing environment to help with the demand planning from that perspective. So they bring some nice IP, some great talent, some great energy, some great customers, and experience in the dynamic space. And so we're very excited by that acquisition, and you're going to be hearing more about that here in the near future. One of the other things I want to highlight quickly is we have built a number of different add-ons to the application. One of our development mantras, if you will, has always been to keep the application simple and easy to use for our target market, right? Again, small, medium-sized businesses where the users of our product may not be necessarily degreed in supply chains or have, might be wearing multiple hats in the organization. And so we knew we had to build a tool that was not only affordable, but easy to install and easy to support, but still get the job done. So easier said than done, but based on the numbers that I provided, obviously we've been successful at that. But part of that model now then has been for us to create some add-ons for that segment of our user base, maybe 20% or so, that have some more sophisticated needs. And we can do that then without getting in the way of those simpler users, right? Of our classic users. So things like an advanced forecasting module or a supplier performance module that goes deeper than the core functionality in terms of how we manage supplier performance. A more detailed stock projection module that has some financial impact to help the financial side of the house look at cash flow projections and so forth. And then an extended planning horizon module, which really was driven by our customers' requirements, given the long lead times that we're seeing now in the supply chain, thanks to COVID and other impacts of that. So we now go up to 24 months and soon longer to address these long seasonal timelines and longer lead times and so forth. So we always are listening to our customers and to our implementers that are on the ground, helping our customers get this thing up and running. And that has fed a lot of the work that we've done then in terms of building some of these additional modules. So if you're an existing customer already and you're hearing this, and if this is news to you, please reach out to our team or look for a call from our account management team that we're now building quickly to learn more about these and see if these would be of value to you. And then an exciting development for us is a new user interface is on its way. Again, as about a 10-year-old product or 11-year-old product, we've had a couple of significant, watershed marks like this in our organization. It's probably been 3 or 4 years since we did a major overhaul of the interface. And so this is very exciting for us. As a cloud application, we're constantly improving the product, right? Every month essentially is a new version with some new feature or function, and obviously little bug fixes that happen here and there. So as a cloud app, we're always improving the product, but this is a fairly significant adjustment and improvement to the application, kind of a modernization, some improvement in some of our labeling, some new features, and a new interface that we think is going to be a little more modern and attractive and even more useful and easy to use for our customers. So you'll be seeing more of that about the time that this presentation airs in the middle of March. It will be about the time that we'll be beginning to release this new user interface, which will pulse out to some of our users a little bit at a time to make sure that that goes smoothly. But over the course of the next few months, this will become the dominant interface, and we're excited about that. And at the same time, it will also be the launch of a little bit of a rebrand of the Netstock brand, a new website, some new functionality for our partners and for our users, a little easier access to some great resources that we've built over the last couple of years to help our customers improve their operations and so forth. So a pretty significant month of March and spring period for us as a company and as an application, and we couldn't be more excited. We've got some great stuff to talk about. So with that, I'll wrap it up. Looks like I'll have a few minutes left at the end of this session for some live Q&A, and I look forward to that. Please let me know if I can answer any questions. If we don't get to those today, there again is my contact information, russ@netstock.co. Notice it's not .com. That's not a typo. It is russ@netstock.co. If you hit our website, you'll see all kinds of great content there, even in its current state. It's really some good stuff there, including our inventory mentor, which is the name of our blog site. Some great content there. Check us out on some of the third-party review apps like Capterra and G2, et cetera. You'll see that we're very highly ranked. We're the leader in our space, and we would love to have the opportunity to chat with you and or your customers or colleagues at our earliest convenience. So hopefully that was of value to you. Again, appreciate your time. Have a great DynamicsCon conference, and I'll be live with you in a few seconds. To answer any questions or be available anytime to chat with you again. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Well, hello, Daja. This is Karen. How are you? And I think you might be on mute. That's
I am on
okay.
mute. Apologies.
Hey,
Hey,
everyone was probably really excited to see Russ today, and I'm always excited to see him. He's an amazing guy to report to, and one of the reasons why Netstock does such a great job in the channel. But unfortunately, he is on a plane right now, and so to the audience, you've got us today, and I just wanted to say thanks to Molly and Liz and the whole team for doing such a fabulous job with DynamicsCon. This is becoming one of my most favorite events to attend and to be part of. Naja, how
Mhm.
do you feel about it so far? You're fairly new to the channel, so
I'm
definitely want
very
to hear
new.
your feedback.
Yeah, so I'm very new. This is my first DynamicsCon experience. It's been really interesting. I'm like so excited. I feel like I've learned so much. I've been snooping through the other channels and Russ's video. Not to toot our horn, but it was really good. It was very informative. I feel like he did a lot of covering of everything that's like going on at Netstock right now and all the exciting things that we are like leading into. So it's been great.
Excellent. And I'm just pretty psyched that we were able to follow, some of the titans in this business, like Sean and Amber, and of course Deb and Kurt and so forth. So thanks for letting us come up uh, come up behind you in terms of presenting today. So wanted to see if there are any questions as I'm looking in DynamicsCon chat here. I don't see any. But that's
No.
okay because a lot of partners and customers start to think about, hey, what can I do to really improve my customers' inventory performance, or maybe I need to do that as well. And so the great thing about these presentations is that they make you think about things. When you're going back to your office or going back to the warehouse or going back to your daily work, where can I reduce that excess inventory? How can I place orders faster? How can I minimize stockouts?
Wait,
In,
Karen, so
in
sorry,
this
but did you see we actually have a question?
Oh, we do have a question.
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Well,
So
I'm
Kevin,
excited to hear about it.
yeah, sorry. So Kevin Cody, he just asked, can your product work with on-premise service servers or only in the cloud?
Actually, when it comes to a product like Dynamics GP, that's on-prem, so we can certainly help you out there. But our solution is a cloud-based solution. So if you're looking to kind of go from GP to BC, for example, we can certainly help you out in that area. But yeah, definitely we could assist there.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay.
I don't believe there are any more at this time. No, no more at this time.
No more at this time. Okay, that's all right. Well, the thing is, I definitely want everyone to think about inventory. Think about how you're forecasting.
Mm,
Think about that excess stock that is just collecting dust on the shelves, and also tying up your capital. Think about stockouts. In this day and age, people need their products. Whether it's a consumer, whether it's another business, they need the items that you have to sell,
mhm,
and so that's exactly where Netstock could help you out, is to make that supply chain a lot easier. And of course, with a cloud-based solution, we're
mhm,
definitely tying into what Microsoft the messaging is. And so if you ever need our help, you saw Russ's email, russ@netstock.co, and
mhm.
he's more than happy to assist you. Or I'm Karen.Wainwright at netstock.co. Definitely reach out to me. We'd be delighted to work with you, and certainly look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you enjoy the rest of DynamicsCon.